All right. In last class we have seen Gauss law and solid angle. In today's class what is that we are going to do is we will try to calculate electric field for different configurations using Gauss law. So last class I have given the statement of Gauss law. So if you have a closed surface and if you are doing closed integral of E bar dot dA bar is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. This is what we have explained in the last class in Gauss law. Now I told you using Gauss law we can calculate electric field. Now in this figure if you look at this, if you manage to take a Gaussian surface such that your electric field, if it is constant, we can simplify this as E times total area is equal to total charge Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Now from here you will be actually getting the electric field value and your E will be equal to Q by A epsilon naught, your enclosed charge by area into epsilon naught. Okay. Now if you have a single surface, okay, but if you have combination of surfaces, across each surface you have to do the flux calculation. Now using this for different configurations, using this idea we will try to calculate field. Now in that part your first one is your electric field because of infinite line of electric field because of infinite line of charge is your first application. Now for this infinite line of charge, why am I specifically mentioning infinite line here is, now if you have a finite line of charge like this, for this finite line of charge what will happen is, okay, now I mean if you have only a finite line, in the ends, okay, your electric field will not be uniform near the ends. So if your line is, I mean positively charged one, then you will have your cylindrical field lines like this in the middle. But when it comes to edges, what happens is you will have field lines not in the form of straight lines like this. So now if you are trying to imagine a Gaussian surface near the edges, your E bar will not be constant irrespective of any kind of Gaussian surface that you take. Okay, so you have to always take the Gaussian surface such that it should make your electric field E bar as constant. Now in this figure, okay, what is that I will do is I cannot take a sphere here, because if I take some sphere kind of surface here, closer to this end there will be more field, here it will be less, more, less, more like this. So like this I cannot take, or else if I assume like this, okay, if I want my electric field at some other point like this, at this point if I want my electric field, I can take a loop here. But the problem is, if the wire is infinitely long, your electric field lines will be radially outwards. There will be no issue if the wire is infinitely long like this. But if the wire is finite like this E bar is not constant. Closer to this there will be different electric field, and the region there is no uniformity everywhere. Okay, so here what is my point is, you cannot, okay, apply this Gauss law for finite line of charge, I mean you can apply, but the problem is you will not be able to calculate electric field. Okay, so here the problem with this idea is there is no specifically defined Gaussian surface to manage or to bring E bar equal to constant. But if the wire is infinitely long, if you are trying to calculate your electric field here, now what happens is, if you take a cylindrical Gaussian surface like this, okay, so I am taking a cylindrical Gaussian surface here on the top as well on the bottom. Okay, I am considering a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Now if you consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface like this, now your field lines will be, okay, going radially outwards here, here, here it will come out like this, here outside, outside, outside like this. So like spokes of wheel, they will be coming radially outward in all the directions. Now in this case, okay, your flux, if you are trying to calculate, now at this point your electric field is, let us say from here to here the distance is d, from here to here length is L, and let us say charge density is lambda. Now if you are trying to calculate flux according to Gauss law, your flux is, okay, your net flux is equal to flux through top cap plus flux through bottom cap plus flux through curved surface. Okay, so here you are taking a cylindrical region, and across this cylindrical region you are trying to calculate the flux. This flux is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught, okay, according to Gauss law. Now if you try to calculate flux in the cap part, across this cap your area vector of cap, okay, area of cap will be this way, your electric field vector will be radially away, because this is infinitely long, everywhere you will have radially outwards like this electric field. So your angle between your electric field and area vector is 90 degrees. Here also your electric field vector E vector will be radially outwards, your area vector is 90 degrees. So because of these two, flux is going to become 0, because of top cap and because of bottom your flux is 0 degrees. Reason, in both these cases your angle theta is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, now coming to your curved surface, your flux through curved surface is equal to, what is your Q enclosed by this cylindrical region means, it is lambda into L, okay, because this is uniform rod. Okay, so now this will become lambda into L by epsilon naught. Now your flux through this curved surface area is E times, what is curved surface area of cylinder means, it is 2 pi into, here the radius is d, length is L, 2 pi dl is the curved surface area, that is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. L will go off, you are going to get your electric field at that point is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught d. Now if you observe carefully, this result is, okay, going to match with your previous result of electric field because of infinite line of charge. Okay, in that previous result, at this point what is that we have done is, we have taken angles like this with the top part and bottom part, and we have changed the angles alpha and beta equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so you are going to get this result. Okay, now remember one important point, what is that is, your Gauss law I have applied for infinite line of charge. For finite line of charge you don't have uniform E, you cannot take E out of the integral because E is not constant everywhere. But if you take it like this, if you take this cylindrical symmetry, okay, for this cylindrical wire part, then you are going to get the answer correctly. Okay, now we have calculated this. So your Gaussian surface, try to represent it with help of dotted lines, do not draw thick lines. Gaussian surface will usually be represented by dotted line. Okay, now once we have calculated this, okay, we need to even calculate potential for these kind of figures between 2 points. So I will come to the potential part. Now for a line of charge there will be some ambiguity in the potential, but still using previously I have derived the potential part, but still we will do it. So now instead of field, we'll simultaneously for everything we will do field and potential. So E comma V, if you keep the heading, then both will be covered. So now if you take this infinite line of charge, now for this infinite line of charge, okay, now from here to here, if the distance is R2, from here to here if the distance is R1, okay, because why am I doing this? I will tell you. To calculate the potential difference I am doing this. Why that is required I will tell you now. So if your charge density is lambda, normally your definition is what? V2 minus V1 is minus of 1 to 2 E bar dot dr bar. This is what you are going to write. Now I will shift from, let us say this is R1, I will shift towards right to not to have confusion between the points. Now this is R2, top one is R2, bottom one is R1. Now let us say you are trying to calculate potential difference between these 2 points. Now V at R2 or VB minus VA is minus of A to B. What is your field direction means? Because of infinite line of charge at some distance R, what is your E value means? Just now we have seen it is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught R, and your displacement dr is also in the same direction, your E bar is also in the same direction. So that will give you dr cos 0. Now if you take this out, okay, you cannot, in the previous definitions I have done V at infinity minus, V at R minus V at R minus V at infinity is equal to minus of infinity to this thing times E bar dot R bar. Now I cannot substitute infinity in this expression, because if I do that I am going to get infinite answer, I am not going to get a proper answer in the integral. That is why we usually do not define potential at infinity, and even if it is assumed your potential at infinity is 0. So for a line of charge it is better to discuss potential difference between the points. Do not go for this thing, a potential at infinity. So V at A it is R1, here it is R2 times lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught. This part is constant, you can take it out of the integral, but I am writing one more step. So that will give you your VB minus VA is equal to minus of lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught times integral of 1 by R dr is ln R from R1 to R2. That will give you your potential difference VB minus VA is equal to minus, I will send it inside, so you will get lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught times, if I send it inside you are going to get ln of R1 by R2 like this. Okay, so point B is R2, point A is R1, this part is at a distance R2, this part is at a distance R1. Okay, now why I have taken this is, in place of R2 you cannot just simply substitute infinity, okay, right, because ln of infinity you usually do not define, we usually do not define your ln value at infinity. So that is why in this expression I have tried to calculate potential difference between points. Okay, I did not do it at a particular point, I have calculated only the potential difference. Why did I do it? Because you cannot define, we can always, I told you right from the start, I have been telling this again and again, you cannot measure the absolute potential energy or you cannot measure the absolute potential. You can only measure the potential energy difference or potential difference. So here I am calculating the potential difference, I am not calculating the potential energy difference. Okay, so at infinity, because it is 0, we are not doing it. Okay, you cannot define, you cannot just simply place in place of a, you cannot just simply place infinity and say v at r minus v at infinity is equal to ln of ln of infinity, something like that. You cannot write it because your logarithmic functions are not defined for infinity or zeros. Okay, so hope you have understood it, right? Okay, next, now coming to second part, your E and V because of. Okay, now coming to the next part, your next idea is your electric field and potential because of cylindrical wire. Yeah, we'll do cylindrical wire first. That too, it is having variable charge density. Okay, if you want, you can do it, but first we will do constant charge density. If you have variable charge density, you can do it separately. So now let us say this is your axis of this infinitely long cylindrical wire. Okay, now here I am assuming this is a volume based charge distribution. Okay, so for volume based charge distributions we need to integrate it. Okay, now if it is hollow, okay, first we will do for hollow part. Okay, first hollow cylindrical wire, I am trying to calculate your field and potential inside and outside. Now if you take this hollow cylindrical wire, that means your charge is only on the outer surface. Now for this kind of configurations, how will you take your Gaussian surface is, okay, for point inside you will take a Gaussian surface here. Okay, you will take a cylindrical Gaussian surface like this. For point outside you will take, okay, a Gaussian surface, cylindrical Gaussian surface like this. Now for r less than r, let us say this is your radius is capital R. Now for point inside, okay, point inside, for r less than r, okay, what is going to happen is E times across this point, somewhere at this point, if you are trying to calculate field, okay, closed integral of E bar dot dA bar is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Okay, now if you look at this, okay, this word hollow indicates that inside it is empty. Now even if it is solid one, if I am using the word conductor, okay, if I am using the word conductor, even then your answer is going to be the same for hollow, because your conductors, any charge that you give to the conductor will come to the surface. Okay, so if I am using the word conductor also, it is going to be hollow case. So in this scenario, okay, your enclosed charge is equal to 0, your field inside is equal to 0. Now similarly, if you are taking point outside, because whatever charge is there, that is only outside. Okay, so in this case there is no charge in that white color Gaussian surface. So if I am taking a point outside for r greater than r, okay, so your closed integral of E bar dot dA bar is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. So according to this Gaussian surface, from here to here, if the distance is smaller like this, where in which your small r is greater than r, E times your area is 2 pi RL is equal to Q enclosed is lambda into L by epsilon naught. L will go off, not lambda, sorry. Q enclosed is what? Sigma times your curved surface area of that cylindrical part is 2 pi small r into L. So 2 pi r, 2 pi, here r value I have taken wrong, just I will correct it, just hold on. This is area of Amperian loop, no? So E times area of Amperian loop is 2 pi small r into L, okay, for the length L, that is equal to your Q enclosed. Okay, observe here carefully, your enclosed charge is present only in the cylindrical region of capital R. So here Q enclosed is sigma times 2 pi capital R times L by epsilon naught. 2 pi, okay, observe carefully, your charge is present only on this radius R, so that is why I am not substituting small r here. This area is area of Amperian loop, so that is why I have kept small l. So you are going to get E is equal to sigma into capital R by small r into epsilon naught for outside point. Okay, inside there is no charge, so that is why field is 0, outside this is this much. Okay, so like this you can calculate your potential and field. Your potential definition, you just simply apply V2 minus V1 is equal to minus of 1 to 2 E bar dot dr bar. Okay, right, like this you have to calculate your field because of this hollow cylindrical wire. Now if it is solid, okay, solid part I will come later. Okay, next first I will erase this. Hope you have understood it. I am erasing this. I will come to volume based distributions separately. First I want to do sphere, because that part if I do, it will be helpful in doing some other things. Now let us consider your field and potential because of, okay, concentrate very carefully, hollow sphere, charged sphere of course, okay, hollow sphere or conducting sphere. So what is this conducting business, I will tell you. Now normally hollow means inside it is empty. Okay, what is the difference I am telling you? Hollow means inside empty, so any charge that you give, it will be only on the surface. Okay, now if you are using the word conductor, okay, this, even though you give charge, inside there is matter, okay, in the hollow one it is empty. But if you are using the word conductor or metal or conductor, what happens is, I will talk about it later, but any charge that you give, this will finally come to the surface. So even though it is a solid sphere, if it is a conducting sphere or shell, it is equivalent to that. This charge that you give goes to surface. Here my point is, charge goes to surface automatically. So for both these cases, what is the result that I am going to give is, okay, valid. Okay, hope you have got the difference. Hollow means inside empty, solid one is there, but if it is conductor, even though I give charge, inside matter is there, but still even if you give the charge will go to the surface like this. Okay, now based on this I am going to explain certain logics. So now first I will give the result and then I will come back to the derivation. Okay, because result is the most important thing, or I can derive it, what is there, no issues. We will write the result later. Let us say you have a charged shell. So for charged sphere or shell, okay, conducting shell or charged sphere like this, inside it is hollow, your charge is only on the surface. Then you have to use obviously your sigma value. Sigma is how much, means total charge by total area 4 pi r square. So this is your radius r. Now what is that I want is, I want your electric field at a point inside this sphere and at a point outside this sphere as well. Okay, for r less than r, what is the field and what is the potential. Now this result is very important, observe carefully. This is r, this is also r. Now first case is when small r is less than capital R, that is electric field inside shell I am trying to calculate, and that particular point that you are calculating, if this is some A and if this is some B, your A, okay, EA, okay, closed integral of EA bar dot dA bar is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. So for inside point, usually your Gauss law is this. Now here your Q enclosed is how much, means it is 0. Okay, because for this configuration, okay, I am taking spherical Gaussian surface. For point inside, my spherical Gaussian surface is this. For point outside, my spherical Gaussian surface is this. So your Q enclosed is equal to 0. For the inside point, there is no charge. All the charge that you have is only on the outer shell. So your Q enclosed is 0. So that will give you 0. So your electric field inside point is equal to 0. Okay, this is when small r is less than capital R. Okay, next, when small r is greater than capital R, your electric field outside of shell, okay, electric field outside of shell, okay, that means at point B. Now at point B, if you take at this point, your electric field EB will be this way, dA vector will be this way. At this point, if you take, your electric field is radially outwards, dA is radially outwards. So at all these points over that spherical region, okay, usually these Gaussian surfaces will resemble the charge configuration. Here this is spherical, your Gaussian surface is spherical here. Here it is a sphere, your Gaussian surface is sphere. Okay, so now if you take this integral, closed integral of E bar dot dA bar is equal to, now your Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Now your total charge is Q total here. If you want to write it in terms of sigma, that is absolutely your choice, no issues. Now this will give you E times your surface area of this sphere is 4 pi small r square. In this formula, your A is area of this sphere, so that will give you Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Q enclosed is total charge that you have by epsilon naught. So 4 pi epsilon naught, if it comes to this side, you are going to get it as E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. Now your outside point, okay, inside it is 0, outside it is KQ by r square. Now if you draw a graph for E versus r, now what happens? Till small r equal to capital R, your field is 0. Then on the surface and beyond it, it is inversely proportional to r square. Here it is 0. Okay, for r less than r, any point inside, okay, whether the point is here, 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 everywhere, okay, according to Gauss law logic, your enclosed charge is 0. There is no enclosed charge at any point if you assume some Gaussian surface. So because there is no charge, E inside is 0. Exactly on the surface, suddenly it will increase, and how much is its value, means it is KQ by r square. So beyond this, it is inversely proportional to r square. This result is important, just keep it in mind. Okay, now try to do the potentials. Now I have calculated the field. Now fill these results back into the table. Okay, I have asked you to fill the table simultaneously while I am deriving the results. If you don't fill the table, then there is no point in doing this stuff. Do it, try to calculate the potential. Because you know the field, you can calculate the potentials. Try it, try to calculate the potentials. Now if you are trying to calculate the potentials, an important thing, okay, now for outside point, that is for small r greater than capital R, V at small r minus V at infinity is equal to minus of infinity to r E outside dot dr bar. Okay, now your infinity, at infinity your potential is 0, outside it is how much means minus of k into total charge by r square into dr. So simplify this. This is minus 1 by r, minus minus plus, you are going to get k cube times 1 by r. From infinity to r, you are going to get the potential as k cube by small r. So for outside point, your potential of this is k times q by r. Now this result is important because for concentric shells, okay, later we will see a topic called as concentric shells, which is the tough part, or many times where children feel concentric shells topic to be tough. So where everything is involved and all, you will be feeling those questions as tough, but you can solve this if you understand and remember these results properly. Now this is outside point. Now, okay, for inside point, I will explain a logic, that is small r less than capital R. I need to explain something. Observe carefully. Now, in maths, if you want, this is x equal to a, this is x equal to b, let us say this is x equal to c. Now, if you do integral of f of x dx from x equal to a to x equal to b, that can be written as integral of x equal to a to x equal to c f of x dx plus integral of x equal to c to x equal to b f of x dx. You can split the integral into two parts. Now why is that you are doing this, I will tell you. Now if you have watched my integration video and its geometrical meaning, if you are doing integral of x equal to a to x equal to f of x dx, this gives you this complete area, okay, this gives you area of shaded portion from where to where means from x equal to a to x equal to b. This gives you area from x equal to a to x equal to b. Now if you take x equal to a to c, this gives you this pink color portion, and followed by from x equal to c to x equal to b means white color portion. So indirectly you can split this integral into two parts. Now why did I do this, I will tell you. Now while calculating potential for inside point, you cannot just simply write v at r minus v at infinity is equal to minus of r to infinity times infinity to r e bar dot dr bar. Because why this is happening, I will tell you. Outside you have inverse proportionality to r square. Beyond this sphere you have your field is k cube by r square. Inside suddenly it is becoming 0. There is no continuity here. Okay, here you cannot just take a single value. You have to consider both outside as well as inside. Okay, to overcome this problem, okay, your E is not continuous. Okay, we have some problem here. To overcome this problem, okay, what is that I will do is, okay, I will not do this infinity to r. Instead I will do something. So now according to this formula, for r greater than or equal to r, your potential can be written as k cube by capital R. Exactly on the surface, okay, on surface your potential is v on the surface, it is equal to k cube by radius of the hemispherical spherical shell is r, k cube by r. Now for point inside, to get the potential, okay, so you have to split it and then do it. Instead I will do a different technique. Okay, so what is the technique, I will show you now. Okay, you can do v2 minus, okay, I am trying to calculate potential at inside point. So for inside point I will try to calculate the potential. So v2 minus v1 is minus of 1 to 2 e bar dot dr bar. Now if I take v2 as v at r, this is inside point means r less than capital R. Second point I will take v at small r equal to capital R, that is equal to minus of capital R to small r times E inside dot dr bar. Here I have only a single function. Okay, what is that I am doing? What is your potential means? Okay, indirectly your potential difference is shifting this plus 1 coulomb charge from this point to inside point like this. So how much work means Vr minus V small r equal to capital R is equal to minus of 1 2 times E inside dot dr bar. Inside your electric field is 0. So V inside at any point is equal to V on the surface, that is equal to kq by r. Now if you draw potential versus distance graph, what happens is, okay, on the surface it is kq by r, beyond it it is inversely proportional to r. Okay, so at any point inside it is constant, it is kq by r here. Okay, your potential is kq by r here, and beyond this at any distance it is kq by small r. Okay, right? So this is, okay, this situation is kind of having a equipotential surface. Okay, so you have an equipotential surface inside this shell. Everywhere your potential is same, and to shift any charge from here to here no work will be done. Okay, so this is a equipotential surface, so there is no potential difference. So you take any 2 points, your potential difference is going to be 0 inside this shell. Outside and inside point there will be some potential difference. Okay, so hope you have understood it and there is no doubt. Okay, now I'll just write the summary and I want you to remember the result, and it is important to remember because for concentric shells we are going to use this. Okay, I want you to please tabulate it. Okay, tabulate it backside. Okay, so my point is, if you have a conducting shell like this whose radius is r, your inside electric field is 0, inside your potential is kq by capital R. For r less than r, for r greater than r, your, sorry, this is, yeah, inside potential is this much, field is this much. Outside point your field is kq by small r square, your potential is k into capital Q by small r. Okay, so fields and potentials you have to remember. Okay, right, tabulate it, remember this result. Okay, for spheres and shells we need to remember it because next we will utilize those. Now coming to the next part, your next heading is your field and potential, your field and potential because of sphere of charge. If I give, is this statement correct or wrong means, okay, it is unclear, but if nothing is mentioned we will assume non-conducting sphere of charge. Okay, non-conducting, why am I using the word non-conducting means, even if it is conducting then it becomes equivalent to a shell. Okay, so if I am using the word conducting sphere, conducting in the sense charge goes to surface. So if I am using the word conductor, then the charge goes to surface, so that it will become equivalent to a shell. Now here what is my thing is, I have a sphere of charge, charge is distributed over the entire volume. Previously it is shell means only your charge is on the surface, but now your charge is inside as well as outside. Now in this case this is a volume based charge distribution. Your charge density is rho is equal to total charge by total volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay, so your charge is distributed over across entire volume. Your charge density is given by rho is equal to total charge by total volume. Now I will try to calculate field and potentials. So now I will take a Gaussian surface here at a distance small r. I will take another spherical Gaussian surface at a distance small r. Let us say your sphere's radius is capital R. Okay, now for point inside, okay, point inside, I will calculate field first. Okay, point inside E, that is for small r less than capital R. I am trying to calculate field at a point inside the sphere of charge. Now in this case, okay, now first of all, okay, we need to calculate your field. So E times what is your surface area of this Gaussian surface means this Gaussian surface will have an area of 4 pi small r square, that is equal to what is your enclosed charge, that we need to write by epsilon naught. Okay, now what is your enclosed charge means your enclosed charge is only this shaded portion. Okay, now Q charge is present across a volume of 4 by 3 pi capital R cube. Small q charge is present across an area of 4 by 3 pi small r cube. Now cross multiplying this, you are going to get small q is equal to capital Q times 4 by 3 pi small r cube by 4 by 3 pi capital R cube. That will give you 4 by 3 pi will cancel off. You are going to get small q into capital Q into small r cube by capital R cube. Okay, now substitute this, or else why all this headache? This q by 4 by 3 pi cube is density, so you can write it as density rho times 4 by 3 pi small r cube by epsilon naught. Choice is yours, whatever you write that is up to you. Okay, your charge present in that region is charge density into volume. Now if I do that, okay, so cross multiplying and simplifying, so your inside point E inside times 4 pi r square is equal to rho times 4 by 3 pi small r cube by epsilon naught. 4 pi will go off, r square r cube will go off, so you are going to get E inside is equal to rho r by 3 epsilon naught. Okay, so for r less than r, what is your field means it is this much, where your rho value is q by 4 by 3 pi capital R cube. Okay, now this is your field inside. Now outside point if you take, okay, outside for small r greater than capital R, it's not going to be a big deal. So E out times your surface area is 4 pi small r square, that is equal to your total charge. Okay, this is your total charge q, so your enclosed charge is total charge, so that is why it is q times q by epsilon naught. So in place of q you can substitute rho into 4 by 3 pi capital R cube, that is your choice. So I'll just simply write k times capital Q by r square. Now if you draw a graph of E versus R, inside it is proportional to R, so your E is directly proportional to R. Outside it is inversely proportional to r square, so that is why it is inversely proportional to r square outside. This is your capital R point. Okay, so like this you can calculate your field because of non-conducting sphere of charge. Okay, if it is conducting, that is equivalent to a shell. So if for the conductor, any charge that you give, it goes to the surface. Okay, hope you have understood what I have explained. If there is any doubt, just let me know. Now I will continue this, I will erase it. Okay, next. Coming to the next part, I have taken point inside, point outside, everything. Now next, I will try to calculate potential. Now potential calculation is not easy, not tough, it depends upon how you understand. So similar approach we will follow as what I have discussed previously. So everywhere you have charge like this. Now for r greater than r, okay, that is your small r is greater than capital R, V at small r, this is outside. Okay, for outside I am writing the potential. Okay, V at small r minus V at infinity is equal to minus of infinity to r times E out times dot dr bar. So V at infinity is 0. So your VR is equal to minus of integral of infinity to r kq by small r square times dr. That will give you your potential outside is equal to kq by small r. Outside this configuration will act as a point charge. Now the real challenge comes for the point inside. Now for point inside, that is r less than r. Okay. Now once again I will follow the same logic as previous. V2 minus V1 is equal to minus of 1 to 2 times E bar dot dr bar. Now V at capital R, okay, this is V at small r equal to capital R. No, inside, okay, V inside minus first point I will take it as capital R. That means your potential on the surface, that is equal to minus of capital R to small r. Your E value inside is rho r by 3 epsilon naught times dr. Okay, your inside point, your electric field is this much. It is rho r by 3 epsilon naught. And on the surface, how much is the potential means? On surface, your potential is V at r is equal to kq by capital R. From this expression, this is r greater than or equal to r. So now that will give you V at small r minus k times, okay, your q value by, okay, capital R is equal to minus of rho by 3 epsilon naught times small r square by 2. Integral of r dr is small r square by 2 from capital R to small r. Okay, now minus sign we will rearrange. So V at small r minus k times capital Q by r is equal to rho by 3 epsilon naught times minus, if I send it to other side, that will become small r square minus capital R square by 2. Your potential at this is equal to kq by capital R plus your rho is q by 4 by 3 pi r cube whole divided by 3 epsilon naught times capital R square minus small r square by 2. So now this 3 term will cancel off. So you are going to get q by 4 pi epsilon naught means kr cube times capital R square minus, k by r cube, kq by r cube times capital R square minus small r square by 2. This is kq by r. Okay, in between there is a plus sign. Yeah, you simplify accordingly. Okay, right, you take kq by r common and then simplify it. Okay, so simplify and get this result. So this is how you are going to get the potential inside. Okay, now fill the table back. Okay, from maths you draw the graph accordingly. Okay, so we will require this shell result more. Conducting, non-conducting sphere, you don't need it. Now next, if you have variable charge, how to take strip and then integrate, I have explained. So there is not much to explain there. Now next, your next idea is your electric field because of infinite sheet of charge. Okay, so more about this variable, in the previous result, if you have variable charge density, if charge is varying, you have to calculate accordingly. Your small charge dq is rho times small volume dv. In place of dv, 4 pi r square dr. In place of rho naught into some r square r cube, some function he will give it. Accordingly you substitute and integrate to get the charge. Okay, so variable once you do it. Okay, this part not required. Now infinite sheet of charge. So you have an infinite sheet like this. Okay, very long. I am just taking it short. So for this sheet, okay, at close point, okay, close to this, you are supposed to calculate the field. Now for this, okay, infinite sheet, we have to take a Gaussian pillbox kind of surface. Okay, that homeopathic medicine bottle will be there, no, that kind of Gaussian pillbox is what we are supposed to take. So now if you do so, you will get this kind of surface like this. Now if this sheet's charge density is sigma, okay, this sheet's charge density is sigma. Now on the top layer, okay, on the top layer your electric field E is upwards, area vector is upwards. Your electric field E vector is downwards, area vector is downwards on the bottom. Near the curved surface, your area is like this, your field is like this. Okay, so your net flux, if you are writing, your net flux is flux through top plus flux through bottom plus flux through curved surface, which is equal to your Q by epsilon naught. Okay, now your Q is, okay, it is sigma into A by epsilon naught. Okay, flux through curved surface is 0 because angle between these two is 90 degrees. And coming to the top part, okay, it is EA, bottom part it is E into A. So 2EA is equal to sigma into A by epsilon naught. AA will go off. Your electric field because of infinite sheet of charge like this is, your infinite sheet of charge is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Okay, so like this you can calculate your electric field because of infinite sheet. Okay, your sigma is what? Charge density, that is charge per unit area. So depending upon whatever is the value given or asked, you simplify it and then finish off the answer. Okay, so like this you can calculate your fields and potentials because of different configurations. Okay, now let me see whether you have questions based on this variable configurations. Okay, right. Hope you have copied it down and you have noted it down. So I'll give a question. So stick to the basics and then do it. Inside a ball that is uniformly charged with charge density rho. Okay, the question is like this. There is a big sphere of charge density rho like this. Okay, your area is given as your charge density is rho. There is a spherical cavity. Center of cavity is displaced with respect to center of ball by A. There is a cavity here. Okay, inside there is no charge. Okay, and this is your point O. Center of this is at a distance of A. Okay, inside region is empty. Calculate your field strength inside the cavity. Assuming it is vacuum inside. Okay, so from here to here the distance is A. You are supposed to calculate field strength inside the cavity. Okay, so at some distance R you are supposed to calculate here what is your field. That is your question. Okay, try it, then I will explain the solution. Cavity's radius, it is not given, but at any point it is independent anyhow. We will see the result. So at this point P you are supposed to calculate your electric field. Find EP bar. You cannot just define Gaussian surface here and say there is no charge and it is 0. How do you know that this Gaussian surface is circle? No. So we can do this in a different way. This combination is equivalent to a full sphere plus this sphere with negative charge. Okay. A full disk with cavity is equivalent to a disk with full positive charge and negative charge. Okay, this part is negatively charged one. Okay, now your field at this particular point P is field because of this configuration. It is how much means this point, if it is at a distance of r1, okay, let us say this distance is r1, let us say this distance is r2. So because of this positively charged sphere, your field is rho r1 by 3 epsilon naught inside, okay, and that too in the radially outward direction like this. Okay, so because of this it is in this direction. Okay, next I will just simply write bar. Okay, why is that I am doing this, I will tell you. Now next, that same point is at a distance of r2, so this will become plus minus rho times r2 bar by 3 epsilon naught, because same charge density rho r2. Okay, right? Hope you have understood what I have tried to explain here. So you have rho r1 bar plus minus of rho r2 by 3 epsilon naught is your required electric field. Now in this, okay, if you are applying triangle of addition, if this is A, your A bar plus R2 bar is equal to R1 bar. Okay, triangle of addition of vectors, this vector plus this vector. Okay, I mean tail of first vector is at head of second vector according to that. So now from here your A bar is how much means it is R1 bar by R2 bar. So R1 bar minus R2 bar. So your required electric field is rho by 3 epsilon naught times R1 bar minus R2 bar. Okay, so this is how you can calculate your field at point inside the shell. Okay, now this R1 bar by R2 bar is how much? Rho times A bar by 3 epsilon naught. Okay, right. Now on variable density we will do a question, you try it. So your next question is, you have an infinitely long cylindrical wire. Okay, because of solid one I did not derive, but you can do it after, you get this result. So there is a cylindrical wire like this. Okay, its radius is r. Okay, capital R. Your charge density, infinitely long of course, your charge density is given as rho is equal to rho naught times A minus R by B. Now here what are constants means rho naught is constant, A is constant and B is constant. Your small r is varying. Now the question is, find electric field at radial distance r less than r and r greater than r. Your question is find E for small r less than capital R and small r greater than capital R. Okay, now you should know how to take the strip. If you are taking the strip correctly, then you will get the answer. So previously I have done for hollow one, now it is solid one. Okay, in this result if you make small v is equal to r, small r, and a equal to 1, I mean sorry, no, if you want to make constant, I mean if you want for uniform wire, then rho will become rho naught. Rho will become rho naught if a minus rb is equal to 0. No, this part is supposed to be 1. So you simplify it. A minus r by b is equal to 1. A minus 1 is equal to r by b, r equal to b times a minus 1. If this condition is satisfied, in this question will become case for uniform thing. Okay, but now do this question first. Okay, uniform scenario you can do it. Now here I have taken variable volume. So for these kind of objects you have to take a cylindrical patch like this, cylindrical patch of layer here, and you have to define your small volume dV. Your small volume dV is this peel off layer. If you cut it and extend it, okay, this peel off layer is at a distance of small r, its width is dr. So your small volume dV is 2 pi r dr into how much length you take, that much length. Okay, right? 2 pi rl dr is your small volume, because if you cut that sheet and stretch it, your curved surface area will be there and your width will be there. Width is dr, your curved surface area is 2 pi small r into l. Okay, your small volume is this much dV. Now once you get to know this, what is your small charge dq element is, your small charge dq is, okay, your dq is rho times dv. Okay, now we have defined dq, you have defined dv. Now to apply Gauss law, E times what is the area of this, means your 2 pi small r into L is your Gaussian surface, that is equal to your enclosed charge by epsilon naught. Getting my point? Your Gaussian surface is this. Okay, if you are trying to calculate at some distance r like this, your enclosed charge is that much. Now in that region, now to get this enclosed charge, first we need to integrate this total charge. Okay, this part, hope there is no issue at all. Okay, E times area is equal to enclosed charge by epsilon naught. Now I want how much is the enclosed charge in this cylindrical patch, small patch, to get the field at inside point. So your total charge is integral of small charge dq, that is equal to integral of your small charge dq is rho times dv. Okay, rho times dv, that is equal to rho times rho naught times a minus r by b. Okay, rho naught times a minus r by b times dv is 2 pi r into dr. Okay, into L, of course, L is there. So rho naught L 2 pi constants, I will take them out. So that will give you rho naught L 2 pi times integral of ar minus r square by b times dr from r equal to 0 to r equal to r. If you want for complete charge, next case for outside point we need total charge, I will keep upper limit r. For now I will just simply keep it as r. So your enclosed charge till a radius of r is, okay, 2 pi rho naught L times a r square by 2 minus r cube by 3 into b. This much is your enclosed charge. Now take this back, substitute into this, you will get E inside. Okay, right? So check whether you are getting the correct answer or not. Do it.
That rho naught into ar by 2 minus r square by 3.
Yeah, you have to divide that 2 pi r part. So
2 pi L cancel.
if I just simply in place of q enclosed here, if I just simply substitute 2 pi rho naught L and R, if I take common out, that will give you AR by 2 minus BR square by 3.
by epsilon.
2 pi R by epsilon naught is there. 2 pi R will go off.
L also.
Okay, yeah, L will go off. So rho by epsilon naught times AR by 2, correct. Yeah. So by this much, correct only. We are getting the correct expression. Now this is for point inside. Okay. For outside point, same logic, but here you have to substitute what I will tell you. So for outside point, upper limit is required. Okay. Copy it down, pause the video clip and then copy the result. So outside point, what happens I will tell you. So for outside point, first we need to calculate the charge. So till the distance of R, your Q enclosed is this much. For full cylinder, just simply in this result, we can substitute small r is equal to capital R. Okay. So your total charge on that cylindrical wire in length L is 2 pi rho naught L times A L square by 2 minus B L cube by 3. In place of small r, I am substituting capital R in this result. Now coming to your Gaussian surface, you have to take a Gaussian surface outside like this somewhat. So for R greater than R, I am doing the field calculation. So E times 2 pi small r L, this is capital R, sorry. Okay. So that will give you 2 pi rho naught L times A capital R square by 2 minus B capital R cube by 3. So L 2 pi will go off. You calculate E outside accordingly. Okay. So this is how you are going to do it. Now here you have variable charge. Your V naught is not constant. Okay, I mean your density is not constant. There is no uniform charge density. Your charge is varying as a function of distance. Okay, right. We will stop with this part today here. Okay, and we will continue in the next class.